From the very first day I stepped into Okafor's family house as Chinedu's wife, I knew Mama Okafor did not like me. She did not shout. She did not insult me. She simply watched, quietly, intensely, like someone studying a rat in a trap. "Welcome," she said, her lips refusing to curve into a smile. Her eyes, sharp, dark, lingered on my face longer than necessary. I told myself I was imagining things. After all, not every mother-in-law would dance with joy over her son's marriage. But the house itself felt wrong. The walls were too cold, the air too heavy, as if secrets had soaked into the cement. That first night, I dreamt of fire. I saw Mama Okafor standing at the foot of my bed, her shadow stretching unnaturally long. She was chanting in a language I did not understand, her voice echoing like it came from a deep well. I woke up screaming, drenched in sweat. Chinedu laughed it off. "We are just nervous," he said. "My mother doesn't even believe in such things." But strange things began to happen. My food went sour within minutes of cooking it. My favorite necklace snapped with force. At night, I felt fingers brushing my feet when no one was there. Each time I complained, Mama Okafor would glance at me and murmur, "Some people are too sensitive." The worst came when I got pregnant. Instead of joy, Mama Okafor's face hardened. She brought me herbal drinks every morning, insisting they would strengthen the womb. The first time I drank it, my stomach twisted painfully. Blood followed days later. Miscarriage. As I wept, Mama Okafor sat quietly beside my bed and whispered, "Some pregnancies are not meant to stay." That was when fear truly entered my heart. I began noticing her habits, how she disappeared into the backyard at midnight, how animals avoided her path, how her shadow sometimes moved before she did. One night, as I followed her quietly, I saw her kneel before an ancient tree, drawing symbols in the sand with a white chalk. And when she turned suddenly and looked straight at me in the darkness, her eyes were glowing red. I ran. That was the night I knew the truth I'd been too afraid to say aloud. My mother-in-law was a witch. After that night, I could no longer sleep peacefully. Every crack of the house sounded like a footstep. Every dream felt like a warning. I started praying quietly, clutching my Bible like a lifeline. Mama Okafor noticed. "You pray too much," she said one morning, staring at me over a cup of bitter tea. "Prayer can also attract attention." Her words chilled my bones. Soon after, I began to grow weak. My body felt heavy, as if something was draining the life out of me, drop by drop. The doctors found nothing wrong. Chinedu grew frustrated, torn between his sick wife and his calm, ever-smiling mother. One afternoon, I overheard voices in the kitchen. "She's not cooperating," Mama Okafor said. "She must," another voice replied, a dry, cracking voice that did not sound human. "The covenant demands blood. Her womb is strong." My knees buckled. That night, I confronted Chinedu crying and shaking. "Your mother is not normal," I said. "She's doing something to me." His face darkened. "Don't ever say such thing again," he snapped. "She gave birth to me. She would never harm my wife." But the truth refused to stay hidden. The following week, I fell into a deep, unnatural sleep. In that dream, I found myself in a dark forest. Mama Okafor stood naked except for red beads. She was surrounded by women with hollow eyes. A black goat lay there, its throat already slit. "You were choosing," she said, her voice no longer human. "Your womb will feed our power." I screamed and called on Jesus with every breath in me. Suddenly the ground shook. A bright light burst through the forest, scattering the women like ash. I woke up crying and coughing out blood. That was the night Mama Okafor finally showed her true face. She stood close to my bed, furious. "You have broken the link," she hissed, "but you cannot escape forever." The next morning, she collapsed in the compound, convulsing. As neighbors gathered, she locked eyes with me, fear replacing pride. "You brought fire into my house," she whispered. And for the first time since I married her son, Mama Okafor looked afraid. Mama Okafor did not die. Instead, she grew weaker and more dangerous. Her nights became louder. Strange cries echoed from her room. Sometimes the smell of burning flesh filled the house. Animals began dying mysteriously around the compound. Chinedu could no longer deny that something was wrong. "She needs help," he said, panic creeping into his voice. Help came in form of a pastor. When Pastor Ezekiel stepped into the house, Mama Okafor screamed from her room without seeing him. The walls trembled. The windows cracked. "She has been deep in the coven," the pastor said calmly, "and she does not want to let your wife go." During the prayer section, Mama Okafor burst into the living room, her body stretching unnaturally. Her voice changed, layered, mocking. "This girl belongs to us," she shouted. Her blood touched our altar. The pastor prayed harder. I cried until my throat burned. Chinedu knelt, shaking, finally realizing the horror he had lived with all his life. Then Mama Okafor turned to me and smiled a terrifying broken smile. "If I fall," she said, "I will not fall alone." She collapsed. For 3 days, she lay unconscious. On the 4th day, she woke up frail, quiet, and small, nothing like the powerful woman she was. "I am tired," she whispered to me when we were alone. "The power is gone, but witches, they say, never truly let go." That night, the house caught fire mysteriously. starting from her room. We escaped just in time. But Mama Okafor did not. As the flames rose, I heard her scream my name, not in anger, but in regret. And just like that, the darkness that ruled her house turned to ashes. We buried Mama Okafor quietly. No rituals, no night ceremonies, just a simple grave and unanswered questions. Some neighbors whispered, others nodded knowingly, as if they have always suspected. After her death, my health slowly returned. My dreams became peaceful again. The house felt lighter, as though I could finally breathe. Months later, I became pregnant. This time there was no pain, no blood, no shadows watching from corners. When I held my daughter for the first time, I cried. Not from fear, but from gratitude. Chinedu changed too. He became gentle, more prayerful, carrying guilt for the years he refused to listen. I should have protected you, he said often. Sometimes, late at night, I still remember Mama Okafor's eyes. The way power twisted love into something cruel. I wondered how many lives she has destroyed before mine, but I also learned something important. Every evil thrives in silence. If I had kept quiet, suffering as fate, I might have not been alive today. Speaking up saved me. Faith sustained me. Courage broke the chain. Now, when people joke about wicked mother-in-law, I smile softly because I know the truth. Sometimes the danger is not outside the home. Sometimes it sits at your table, calls you my daughter, and waits patiently for the right moment to strike. And sometimes, just sometimes, surviving a witch is the beginning of your freedom. The end.